Alright. We'll start again. Howdy folks. Cake 2, 2nd of October. Spring is well and truly here. What's the weather like up there, mate?
We had hailstorms yesterday, but seems alright so far today.
Hailstorms is a bit extreme. Time of year, I suppose. Yeah, if we can see the results of last week. Is it going to focus? Technical issues. It's just this fighter, isn't it?
They're so detailed the camera doesn't know where to focus.
That camera's not focusing at all, is it? Oh boy. Oh no. Don't click that button. I have to pull many things apart if I need to change that, so maybe I'll just stay away from the lens. Oh goodness me. When you put new software on to improve things, improve is in quotes. So,
These things you do for the quality of your stream.
Yes, and it just goes backwards. So this is what we're going to do today. No, that's not going to work. Right, let's have a play. See what we can see. Apologies for the vertigo, everybody.
You know what this means, don't you?
You know, it means what?
You're going to have to get more cameras.
I just bought 2 more.
Yeah, and now it looks like you'll need 2 more.
Stop encouraging me spending money.
Oh, you don't need my help with that.
Oh, how did I turn that on? And this phone cradle is really tight. Let's see if that made any difference. Nope. This guy might be, like, I mean, he's white at the moment, so he might be just way too washed out anyway. If I get him really close, the camera's not focusing, is it? No. Different software. That was a mistake. Okay. I guess we'll just get into it and See if it gets worse from here.
Things can only improve as you add more bits of paint for it to differentiate on.
Differentiate on.
So in all that excitement, you haven't said what they are. I assume they're trolls for an orc army?
They are armoured trolls. For the orc army. For an orc army. My orc army? Something along those lines. How visible is that?
Your palette is under the picture-in-picture, and so is half the model.
Oh, so I need to move over here.
A little bit to your right, yeah.
Oh, I need to do that.
There you go.
How's that?
I think the camera's focusing on your palette too.
Question is, can you see any of what I'm doing?
Yes, absolutely.
I apologise for the doggy noises. They're not me, I promise.
I keep telling you, people love pets on streams.
Just found a mould line I didn't get to when I was preparing these things this morning. Gotta love that.
Yeah, it actually helps the primer.
You put the primer on, the primer shows you where you've missed the mould lines. So how are you going with those knights?
Well, today, when I finish up my morning tasks, I'd like to get in and finish the base coat of the details, and then throw a wash on them, and then see where we go from there.
Sounds good to me.
I've got belts and eye holes pretty much worn and clean, and that's about it, I think, as far as the base coats go.
Cool. Hey, Clay, how are you?
Hey. Oh, right.
Did you get hail? Eddie was saying he got hail.
No, we didn't get any. A lot more of the storm went over Brisbane and a bit south. We got a bit of rain, but no hail.
So this is the same weather front that we got. Because apparently...
Yeah, pretty much all the way down the coast, didn't it?
Yeah. So we've had 3 days of rain from that front.
We had one and a bit.
Yeah. The backyard
Yeah,
is
about
a
1.5
swamp.
here too.
Yeah, I wish it was a swamp here. It's been pretty dry,
Mm.
but we had enough to wet the surface.
So the dam's low.
Yeah, it's low. Don't think it'll dry out, but it's low.
What's going on up there this morning, Clay? You painting?
I the paint, sitting down to it. As we speak, I'm just pulling the 4 not units. What are they?
Stands?
4 bases of 4 stands of these veterans off their holders because they are done.
Oh, very nice.
Well, they're done. They're not done because the definition of done includes eyes.
Who started that malarkey?
Guys who paint eyes. But everything else is done. I just put the final coat of black around the base, so they're looking good. They're just not looking drunk yet.
I'm sure you can fix that.
Yeah, I need to build up the eyes. Eyes are a bit of a thing. So
You could,
anyway, I've got. Yeah.
yeah, I'd said you could give them rosy red cheeks and put them on their base at an angle.
Yeah. So, yep. Let's on to heroes and commanders and observers, artillery observers now. Need to
Fantastic.
mostly done. So I've got to do the boar. I'm not sure why, of all things, my commander is riding a pig.
Well, I don't know. I shared this week in the office with you. I would have thought that answer was self-evident.
I would have smoked the pig and rode the pony. Never mind.
Well,
So,
I saw something that said that the South Korean government was considering outlawing the consumption of dog.
considering it.
Yeah, considering it.
Yeah, there you go. That's pretty big. When I was in China, they had restaurants with walls full of dogs in them, and you can pick which dog you wish to eat.
Yep.
Specialty dog restaurants.
Not my thing.
Me neither. But you know, what's to say why it's so different to eating other types of animals that we eat? Each to their own, to be honest.
That's
Just not my
right.
thing.
Yeah.
most of the Western world doesn't butcher their own meat anymore. And I think that's a key difference. I'm not defending any particular cultural practice, but I think it's an important factor.
Yeah, there's definitely distance from it, isn't there?
Yeah, there'd be a lot of things going off the menu if you had to butcher it yourself.
Most.
Yeah, I get to a certain size animal and I wouldn't be able to cope.
Yeah.
The bigger it is, the harder it'd be.
Yeah. Like doing a cow or something like that's a significant amount of work.
Yeah. I've done a wallaby before, it wasn't pleasant.
Mm.
I feel like that'd be a conversation that James would be uniquely suited to.
Now I apologise for the plaintive groaning noises coming out of the dog. They were not me, I promise. Sounds like the other part of the household is emerging. The puppy got
What are you painting? Sorry?
These are armoured trolls.
Armoured trolls.
That's it. He's got a chain shirt on. Actually, I don't know if you can see that. I'm having trouble with the camera focusing. Change software and it's not playing.
Yeah, I've got those hill giants and rock giant in my cart at the moment. On the wrong part of the site.
Yep.
Looking to bolster these dwarves with a little bit of bigger
Tallness.
A little bit of height advantage.
I pulled the trigger on my cart
Oh wow!
not last night, but the night before.
Yeah.
And it's already shipped, which is great news.
Wow, that is quick.
So get in and make your buy now before Dan clogs up the system again.
They're just ignoring me and treating you guys with preference because I've got 4 orders in that are waiting to come.
Wow.
They've only just caught up, apparently. Paul's only really sort of back to 90, 95% in the last few days.
There you go.
Apparently this COVID thing really kicks you about. So.
Oh, did one of them have it?
Yeah. Paul tested positive 2-3 weeks ago. So yeah, they're really only just sort of catching up with August and September. I think the conversation I had as of yesterday was that they have caught up, but only just. I just got to wait for Australia Post to catch up.
Tell you what, I'd like to work in a business where you can actually catch up 2 months of work and be on top of it at the end of the month, rather than always being 5-6 months behind for your entire working career.
Mm-hmm. If only we were that close. Where we currently are. What are we, 5 or 6 years behind?
I was being polite, but yes.
Yeah. You can't imagine how frustrating that whole episode yesterday was, to find out that it really was PEBCAC in the end, you know? It's like...
Oh, yeah, I get that all the time. You don't understand how much of my day is spent investigating something that integration has done.
Yeah, stupid.
Where they've done a non-standard step or something's been ignored or whatever.
Yeah.
And it just turns out to be that, you know.
So, you know, my hopeful little update yesterday morning of, oh, hey, I might get to this documentation I was supposed to have done 3 months ago, and that has a deadline in 2 weeks. And it's like, nope. I spent the entire day on that problem. And the response from them, oh, but we wanted to keep the data. I'm like, well, the upgrade process doesn't destroy the data. I don't know who told you that. Goodness me.
I think this is actually symptomatic to the fact that there's not much knowledge sharing between what an FSC would do and what testers or devs do. We don't follow their processes, so we actually don't know all the different ways they use this software.
Yeah.
They come up with random things themselves. Like, well, we actually have some defined processes, but we actually don't know what they are.
Mm-hmm.
And if they had known what they were, same as us, we would A, fix holes in them from our point of view, but B, they would follow them. Unless they're doing exploratory testing or something else.
Yeah, but I mean, you can understand that, and you can have a reasoned, rational discussion with the guy that's doing the exploratory testing about whether or not it's realistic. But these guys, they did something non-standard because they didn't understand what standard actually even was. They didn't bother
Exactly, and it's not even in their domain of testing, so we don't expect there to be anomalies.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, there. Yeah.
I mean, who could have conceived that they're attempting to run software on an unupgraded database? Could have conceived it. And so, that's not the first thing you think of. And I mean, I was clutching at straws by that stage. I'm like, I have no idea. Literally no idea what could possibly have gone wrong.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Scratch that, write that day off. Just day gone. Wasted. Well,
I had the same thing, you know. I was trying to help the song all day yesterday, the last 2 days. And yesterday I devoted most of my day to it, and got absolutely nothing because the VMs that I can provision don't have .NET 4.8 on it. We don't have a build system to run our tooling, so I can't. I built it incorrectly, so I didn't have .NET 5 on it.
right.
And then on top of all of that, when I fix everything up and I get everything deployed and it's all there, and I've got Bond installed, and Bond won't install because it doesn't have .NET 4.8, so I had to really stuff around with my automate deployment. It didn't work at all.
Mm-hmm.
And then it got to the end of all of that, and the tooling can't run because it doesn't support TPMs.
Oh.
And they can't support them on that particular provisioning on that hypervisor. It's too old because our infrastructure is too old. So we have no way to provision an automatic VM or any VM for people to test unless we get them to manually provision one. So every time you want to retest something, because let's face it, I want to start from a known point. I want to refire this thing. I'm talking about where I store a certificate on the system. I need a clean system every time to make sure my change is isolated.
Yeah.
And the only way I can do that would be to raise a DevOps ticket to ask them to install a new VM. So I spent the whole day yesterday and got to the end of it. By 5:30, I was talking to one of the DevOps to get a script, unfortunately written in PowerShell, that I'll have to update to run on my own system from Fusion VM. So I didn't go forward. I went back, and it's going to take me a whole day to get those scripts working locally.
Oh no. Oh, it's funny because it's sad as shit. Oh man.
Right. I can only laugh, otherwise I'll cry.
I'll tell you another funny story. I got those 4 virtual machines provisioned to do the infrastructure for Atom, and one of the DevOps guys took a branch of that particular environment, but he didn't change the context file, and he ran a Terraform destroy. So he just blew his VMs away completely. All the software writing downloaded, installed, configured, and everything gone. And completely oblivious of the fact that he'd blown them away. I have never seen someone so abject in apology. He was almost in tears on me, going, I'm so sorry, and I'm like, because I'm at the position where they hadn't done anything serious with them, so there wasn't really any loss. So I'm like, just, man, relax, it's okay, it's not the end of the world. Yeah, okay, you made a shit mistake, but better you made it on these VMs now today than you did on something else at some other point in the future.
We're actually in flight a couple of months down the track.
Oh yeah, if he'd have done that in 6 months' time, there would have been some bleeding going on. But then, once this thing gets serious, we'll be putting backup regimes in and everything, so it wouldn't be that big a deal. But yeah, the perils. And another 2 going away ceremonies yesterday afternoon. Topped the week off.
I stopped turning up to them unless it's someone I really have to.
Yeah.
A bit depressing.
Yeah, when you see the level of crap that comes out. Fun and games. On the plus side, paintbrush in hand, so the world's a better place this morning.
Yeah, I should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bases of heroes, commanders, spotters, and all that sort of stuff done today.
Spectacular.
Oh, I'm done. I mean, painted.
Yeah.
Basing takes a while, but they'll be on their bases at least,
There's a job that I have to do today before I can base these guys. I've got to make more tufts. I'm out of the homemade ones. That's only just ever slightly so tedious. Painted his bum. done your boots yet, Matty?
Working on my first one.
Catharsis.
I tell you, it's not that much fun having to do it every week.
Right.
I've found a new set of giant scratches in the leather,
Uh-oh.
which I'm trying to... Well, you can't buff them out, they're actual cuts in the leather, but I'm trying to fill them with polish as best I can, make it look smooth. I tell you, the one good thing about where I'm at the moment is that there are no going away ceremonies. When someone decides to bugger off, they're gone and they just never show up again.
Right.
That's Bruce.
I'd almost prefer that to some of the bullshit that goes on. You know, some of the things that are said, you know, the amount of hot air coming out of some of the managers about these people, and it's like, well, if you felt that way about them, why are they leaving? What could you have possibly have done different to give them an environment within which they'd prefer to stay? It's almost like this organised guilt trip. Anyhow.
I'd say morale's pretty low at the moment.
What was that? I said to Dave Williams, like back in 2017, we don't have a morale problem because we don't have any morale. He didn't like that. Took me aside and chastised me about my attitude as a senior engineer and needing to display a positive outlook to the rest of the team.
He was always trying to do that shit.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
It's alright. I heard the same touch-ups from James. And I always bite back on the retort that, well, if you hadn't taken so many damn shortcuts, we wouldn't be in this shit, would we? Never can quite bring myself to say that shit, though.
I was about to the other day because I was voluntold to go to a meeting to review the estimates and scope of work for a team I have had nothing to do with for over a year.
Right.
So what bloody right do I have to tell them their estimates are wrong?
You don't.
Or tell them the scope is wrong when I'm not actively involved there?
Yeah, you don't.
No, they were just trying to use me as a hammer to get claw back their time.
Yeah.
I told them, do not split that team up until you have actually delivered.
Yeah.
And now they're late because they split the team up.
Yep.
I'm like,
Consequences.
bullshit. You make me go to this, I'm gonna put a big fat I told you so, and I support their estimates and their scope of work because they know best.
Yep. And knowing who was involved in that, did they accept it?
Well, I told Swapna that, and I said, this is a bad look, morale is low, I am not going in there to do that.
Yeah.
And this is my position, I'll support their scope, I support their thing. And she has pulled me out. So if I attend, I will fire up. But at the moment, they've realised, I think, best not to.
Is it that, or are they just looking for a different hatchet man?
I'm an effective hatchet man when it comes to it, believe me. I really am. But only when it makes sense, you know, when we're deviating from common sense and actual delivery. In this instance, the team has the, like I said, they have the authority to set the required scope based on the, you know, what's needed for the product they need to deliver based on what the product owner wants, and they can also set their estimates. It's not for me to tell them.
There's some capable engineers in there.
Capable engineers, and they know what's the minimum required to deliver what's required by the PMO. So I know that they'll be following their common sense, and they're not going to go crazy, you know. And I saw this coming because they split the team up, and it's rude that they then want me to go in there and clean up their mess. Like, no, you wear that mess now.
It's time frame compression by appeal to a higher power, which is it's disingenuous at best, and it's downright immoral at worst.
Yeah, exactly.
But oh, the shit you get when you actually pull the "I told you so" card.
Well, it was coming out if I was going to attend that, because I verbally very strongly disagreed with those decisions at the time, and now that they're biting them, I don't need to go in there and demoralize devs and testers about this stuff.
Yeah, I agree. I'm enjoying these figures. There's heaps of good stuff on them.
The trolls?
Yeah.
Are they for the goblins?
Nah, these are for the orcs.
Oh, yeah.
No,
That's right, you don't have goblins yet, do you?
I haven't shipped the goblins, no. The goblins are sitting behind my 50 battle mechs.
Yes, I always quite liked the Games Workshop trolls.
Yep.
Fantasy ones. They were always quite nice models. Troll models. Yeah. How many painted Demonworld armies you got now?
3. With a start on the humans, so. But I backed away from doing the humans because there's another guy working on a human army, and I didn't want to sort of demoralise him. That's why I went back to the orcs.
Yes, I think I saw. Did I see posts in the Facebook group from some humans?
Yep.
Maybe some cavalry or something like that?
Yep. Some knights.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they look quite good actually.
Yeah, they do. Did you see the picture of the chariot?
No.
Not sure whether he posted the chariot in there or not, or whether he just posted it to his own page. But the chariot is spectacular. It is in there, Matty?
Yeah, it is. I know it is spectacular.
I'll scroll down.
Yeah, no, it's spectacular. He's done a great job with it.
When I bought my Skaven army, the guy had a Bretonian army there.
Yeah.
At the time I was like, nah, not my thing really, you know.
Yeah.
And my gosh, am I kicking myself? I didn't buy it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, a decent size Bretonian metal plastic, but a good amount of metal in there
Mm-hmm.
for a good price compared to some of the stuff you see on eBay, man. People just want ridiculous amounts of money for its shit.
Yeah, I know. I didn't get a Bretonian army. What I did was I went to Perry Miniatures and I bought both sides of the Wars of the Roses in 28mm. So I think I've got around 300 or 400 Wars of the Roses figures.
Wow.
That was a couple of years ago. They're still sitting there waiting to be assembled and painted.
My God, 300 or 400 of them.
Yeah, so never mind the virtually complete set of Aleph that turned up yesterday for Infinity. I have a problem.
Yeah, and that's 300 or 428mm, man.
Yeah, I
300
know.
or 415mm is a decent bloody army.
Yeah, that's right.
It would take me long enough.
So
400 of them.
yeah. Well, you know, it took what 7-8 months to do that 400 figure Roman army. So
I think since I started on the 15mm, so when I was prepping and I was doing the Flames of Warfellas and then these guys, I've only painted about 120
right.
or so,
Yeah.
30. Still only a third of what that is in 28mm.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I sort of looking around in the last few days after my last little buying spree going, what on earth were you thinking? Because if it was just the Aleph, then it would be, you know, okay, so it's probably only a couple of dozen figures, it's not that bad. But it was 4 or 5 1/24th scale Formula 1 racing car kits. Yeah.
1/24th scale.
Yeah. I think.
Wow.
Are they 24th or 20th? I think they're 1/24th. So the old
Jesus.
Tamiya stuff. And this is, you know, because I'm reliving my damn childhood, and these are the kits that I was building when I was a teenager. And some of them are getting hard to get, so they're not cheap. But
It's so funny because the guy who came and set up my chair, that's right, they sent a guy out to assemble the chair. I'm like, okay, whatever, I won't bother assembling it then, you can send a guy out. Anyway,
yeah,
he was into kits, pretty much that sort of stuff, 1/24th, 1/30th, and he was into aeroplanes, so whatever the column is, like 172 or something.
yeah, 72 or 48 for those.
Oh, yeah, maybe
Yeah.
48 actually. Anyway, and he was into the old ones as well, and he said he had a few that were worth quite a lot of money, the old Tamiya kits.
Yeah. So we watched a special on TV, was James Hunt versus Niki Lauda. So, you know, this was all came about because of the movie Rush and all that sort of stuff. But this was interviews with the people, not sort of dramatic acting and that sort of thing. But they showed some of the footage from the time. And the six-wheeler Tyrrell makes its appearance at around about that point in time. And it's like, oh man, I used to have a model of that. So you go searching on eBay and you go, wow, you can still get it. Buy that.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the early turbo Renault and you go, wow, I'll have that. What else was there? Oh yeah, the 1978 ground effect Lotus that started it all. I'll have that. Ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching. Oh wow, the turbo Brabham, yeah, one of them. Oh God.
Hilarious.
Yep.
I went on a bit of a bender the other day. I was like, it's about time I think about a new car. I'll start saving for one. Anyway,
Right.
looking around, because I was like, I'm going to get a car for me.
Yeah.
You know, I need to face the fact that my old car won't last forever, and although I will allow a lot of money in, it just won't last forever.
You got
So anyway,
you got to stop your brother putting it in a ditch on its roof.
sorry?
I said you're gonna have to stop your brother putting it in a ditch on its roof.
Yeah, man. You know how much that car has had spent on it after I bought it? I
Oh,
bought it for 10,000.
yeah, right. So I expect
10 years ago.
2.5 times that amount more, probably.
Yeah, it's had just in 2 pieces of work. So, you know, Quentin fixing up the roof and the damage I did after he damaged the roof.
Yeah.
And me getting it back into Brisbane and needing to basically redo the whole undercarriage because it had been through, a serious accident and whatnot.
Yeah.
25 grand.
Right. Yeah. In 2 lots of work. Yeah.
So that was 10 and 15.
Yeah.
A bit more on each. Actually, it was like a bit over 15, a bit over 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm actually surprised.
But yeah, it won't last forever. So anyway, what did I end up on? Oldsmobile.
Oh no way!
Man, I saw this sweet. I think it was like 70 something.
Yeah.
Oldsmobile, 2-door, V8, big block in it. 49,000, mint condition. I'm like, yeah, maybe I'll do something like that. Go and buy an old classic car.
Goodness me.
Yeah.
That thing's probably going to be held together by its rust, you realise?
Oh no, it's something someone's completely rebuilt.
Ah, right, okay. So it's a,
Yeah.
it's a complete resto.
Yeah. And my neighbour is a mechanic, and the guy 1 street down used to own Brown's Automotive in Northcote on High Street there, I think.
Oh, really?
Coincidentally, I'd been in there to have work done. Anyway, he used to own that, and he has like half a dozen old cars, and he's, all club sort of stuff, so they're all fixed up and
Yeah.
whatnot.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was like, maybe I could do this sort of stuff.
Did you buy the olds or not?
Not yet.
No, not yet.
Yeah, I'm just thinking that I might actually do something like that next time. I'll start saving for it now. And yeah.
If I had A, the money, B, the time, and C, the room, I'd get myself a Plymouth Barracuda, 1970.
Yeah.
And go to town on it. Turn it into a supercar, basically. If everything was unlimited, but, sadly, everything's limited, so I'll just leave that dream right there.
Yeah, I don't know how I'd go restoring a car. As much as I find it interesting work, I don't think I have the skills for it.
It's not that. It's that everything's time consuming and everything costs a fortune.
Time consuming, and if you don't do it yourself, it's ridiculously expensive.
Yeah.
I can't remember how much it was. I was at a guy's house not long ago picking up some stuff, and it was in his shed, and he had this it was like a 56 Chevy or something like that. And it's not the classic 57 one. It was an odd year there were very few of them made.
Mm-hmm.
And and he had it was stripped down. I don't think the engine was in it at the moment, had none of the seats. It was a shell.
Yep.
And he was putting it back together because he just had it painted.
Yeah.
And I think he said he spent 20 grand on the paint job.
Yep. Easily.
Yeah, it was something extraordinary, and because obviously it's been stripped right down to its shell, and because everything's repainted, the whole thing, So,
Yeah.
And he was putting it all back together. Yeah, crazy amounts of money and
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, if you want one of those classic cars and you want it in mint condition and you want it, with the new motor and all that kind of stuff, you're not going to walk away less than 150. You're just not. Unless
Well, I've heard that you never make your money back on it, so I think that the trick is not to do it yourself, but buy it off someone who's done it.
Who's done it? Yeah, that's right.
Because it's a passion. It's not a business. And like I said, I've heard repeatedly that just never make your money back on it.
No.
So it's not something I think I would ever do. I'd just rather buy a nice one.
Mm-hmm.
Take it on as a labour of love rather than start myself.
Yeah, I did that in the past. I had a 73 Celica that was rebuilding, ground up, rebuild. And I didn't finish it. I sold it as an ongoing concern. The guy that bought it off me only wanted the engine. He didn't want the shell or any of that.
Oh man. I had a 79 Chrysler Sigma and I wish I'd never got rid of it.
That'd be worth money now if it still worked.
Yeah, I bought it for $2,000. It was in really good condition. I wouldn't say mint, but really good condition.
Yeah.
And I drove it around till it died.
Which is what everybody did to those things.
Yeah, little two-door. It went like stink for an old little car.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's funny you should say the word Sigma and stink in the same sentence, because those engines used to have a habit of consuming oil.
Yeah, this one wasn't too bad, although it did die. One day it just put some, I don't know what, but it just blew a hole in the side of the engine block.
Right.
Something went straight out the side.
They call that a leg out of bed.
Yeah.
And what it is you've dropped the big end. One of the conrods. Yeah.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
And that was its death. I think it was burning oil at that stage, and then it was it was actually blew it on the way to the mechanics and put it out the side.
Yeah. So you throw that one away. At that point, it's not worth fixing. I don't know if I've ever told you that story. I used to do earth moving equipment, diesel mechanic work on the weekends, sort of back in 08, 09. Guy owns and runs a workshop up in Craigieburn, and my kids were going to the same school his kids were going to at the time. I just used to go and help him out, more for my curiosity than any sort of benefit to him, because I was a bit slow. He didn't get a lot of good value for money out of me anyhow. He tells a story about we were working on these 37 cubic yard twin power scrapers. So these are the things they use to build freeways. So it's the big scraper with the big bowl in the middle, and it sort of drives along and the bowl fills up, and then they go and they drop it somewhere else. They've got an engine in the front and an engine in the back, so all four wheels are driven, but they're driven by separate power units. So two complete transmissions, and the whole lot's connected together hydraulically. The controls, which was an improvement because they were originally connected electrically, and that went really well when the electrical circuits got a bit dodgy and you had one engine at the back running full power and the one at the front hard on the brakes because you didn't want to tip off the hill. Anyhow, he got a call one day about about a twin power scraper, and he goes down and he goes down with another guy, and they each walk down, and it's still running. They've got it sitting there at idle, and they go down, and he goes down one side and the other goes down the side, and they stop and they look at each other through the block of the rear power motor that had punched a hole in both sides.
Still going.
And it was still running. Down on power. Yes, you've lost the cylinder. Literally. So, yeah. Amazing. Yeah. I want a bony colour. A skeletony bony colour. How are those boots going, Matty?
Just finished.
Eureka.
They do whiff pretty bad, actually.
As bad as my runners.
Can it quench 20 helps?
A whole can. It'd be bad as my runners after an 11k walk. Not that I've been able to get out this week with the damned weather. And work. It's been pretty miserable here for the last 3 days. Weather-wise. It's been pretty miserable here for the last 3 years, work-wise. My new laptop's turned up.
Oh yeah, any good?
I don't know, I haven't got it yet.
Oh, not turned up to your house.
No. It's like... The guy sends me an email saying it's here. I said, beauty, how long will that take? And he said, well, I'm working from home, but if you want it before Monday, you'll have to get someone else to do it. I'm like, yeah. But I think it's slightly faster from a processor perspective than the current one, because it's a couple of generations newer processor, but RAM's the same, and it's only HD video. They wouldn't let me get another 4K one. So I've got a 5-year-old 4K one sitting here. It's actually going to be better from a video perspective than the one they're replacing it with. Go figure. This because those new global purchasing rules have come in, so they're not allowed to purchase stuff that global IT haven't approved.
Another reason I hate work. I just preferred when I just got to pick my own laptop. Doesn't matter how much it costs. If I want to spend more, they'll just give me the extra, and it's mine to keep.
Yep.
In fact, I'm still using my previous company's laptop.
Yep.
For Leica, because the one that I got from Leica is so shit.
Mm-hmm.
It's unusable. So I turned it into an SSH server.
Yeah, because that's all it's good for.
All it's good for.
Yeah, that false economy shit, it's all over the place, isn't it? I remember a story that I read about Hewlett-Packard back in the day. You know, it was started by two blokes in their garage, and it took off, and it became a big business and everything like that. And I remember this story that was saying about one day the guy was touring the manufacturing floor, and he sees a cupboard with a padlock and chain on it. And he asks what's in the cupboard. It turns out it was some of the expensive measuring equipment or tooling that they were using to set up whatever production line they were, for whatever equipment they were producing at the time. And he says, well, why is it locked away? And he said, well, it's expensive equipment. We don't want people taking it. And so how do people use it? Well, they have to put in a request, blah, 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 blah. So he goes and gets the shop foreman, tells him to go get a set of bolt cutters, and goes and cuts the chain off the cupboard. It says, the tools are here for people to use. Let them use them. And I've always thought of that as a really cool story, because it's like, if you want people to do a job, give them the right tools to do the job. Yeah, it's ridiculous, isn't it? I used to work for a guy, then every time I asked him for something, he got it for me. It was magic. I mean, he was hard to work for in a bunch of other ways, but from that perspective, he was brilliant. If we needed new hardware and there was a good reason for it, he didn't even blink. He'd just sign off on it. It's brilliant. Heck of a lot better than what we're doing at the moment, that's for sure. Just realised I've probably been out of camera shot for the last 20 minutes.
You haven't.
Oh, thanks. So what's on for the rest of the weekend, guys?
We've got a public holiday on Monday up here.
Yeah, sadly, Clee's on Victorian public holidays.
Poor fella. Had yours already.
Had mine already, which look wasn't too bad. They forced us to take the Monday off, so it's a 4-day weekend. Can't complain.
Just quietly, I wouldn't have coped if this week just gone had been a 5-day week.
It would have been a 5-day week.
If it had been a 5-day week, I wouldn't have coped.
No, I was actually considering taking a day off this week anyway.
Yep.
And I'm like, oh no, it's only a short week. I'll just do it. But it's that over that I was going to take a day off.
Yep. Thought about it yesterday, just taking a mental health day, and then after I was halfway through debugging that damn problem, I'm like, I really should have taken one. But then they'd have just given it to you, so.
I was going to take one too. I'm like, no, I should help this song.
So what are you going to do with your public holiday, Matty?
Not physical labour. I think I might do some writing.
Oh, cool. Prep work.
Is that writing or riding?
Writing with a W. I did some last night as well. Got a couple of pages down for the first time in a little while, which is good.
That's awesome.
Oh, and I'll paint it at some point too, I'm sure.
Are you painting Demonworld or 1879?
Demonworld. I have a bunch of Esthak here.
Knights of the Cleansing Dark.
Yes, the foot ones. I'm not sure whether I'll do the mounted version or some more beastmen after that.
Variety is the spice of life. This is why I'm painting trolls and not more orcs. I need a little bit of water.
Yeah, I've got to get to the pony riders at some stage. I've been delaying those over other ones.
Everybody struggles with cavalry, I think. Painting horses.
Yeah, I can't actually recall ever painting a horse miniature, to be honest, apart from the one that I've helped April paint, which she painted it.
It's a thing. I have had a real fear of them. And what's interesting about that is that Jo used to ride, like she owned horses for quite some period of time. And so now I have an advisor as to how I should or shouldn't paint horses.
Is that a good or a bad thing?
Well, it's both. Because, you know, they're...
As long as you don't paint them yellow, I think she'll be happy.
How right you are. Oh, man, my mistake for taking something in the other night that was yellow. She's like, it's fucking yellow. I'm like, yeah. She's like, you're not going to get any other comment than that. Okay. Right. My bad. Yeah, she's one that's really over the yellow.
Is it all shades of yellow or just yellows?
No, I think it's all of them, but at this point. She was incredulous when I did that entire Tyranid army yellow. And I think that set us on our current path.
Yeah, I must admit, yellow isn't the colour I use at all. Often.
Yeah.
Desert yellow, yes, so sands and things like that, but not yellow, not a lemon yellow.
Yeah. Like, that's kind of a yellow. Kind of.
That's more of a, like I said, desert sands.
Yeah, it's a
All
bony.
those sort of related colours, you know.
Hey,
So,
Papa.
what? A soft yellow, how about that?
Yeah, right.
Used plenty of those things. What else have we got here? Desert yellow. No, that's not. What is it? Iraqi sand. Brown sand.
I think the colours that I use least are like the pinks and the purples.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. How far away are you from going anywhere near the creeks, guys? Did you buy a whole bunch of them or not?
No, I got the other Impy Guard.
Oh, that's from the last.
Militarum,
no.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Astra Militarum. Well, when the rest of it turns up, because Australia Post, a long way actually. There's another one of those army purchases. It's like, whee! I'll buy that. Why did I do that? I assembled one Russ. That's about as far as it's gone. And I did a terrible job of that too, by the way. That one's going to have to be the battle damage one.
Yeah.
Did I tell you the story about the second Baneblade?
No.
Well, I got a Baneblade, and I was telling Maddie at the time, I've got a Baneblade. I've got a heap of magnets here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to magnet everything so I can make it into all the different variants of the Baneblade. What I didn't realise is there's a turreted Baneblade and then a non-turreted Baneblade. So it's like, oh, and you can't mix the two because there's different structural elements in them. So it's like, shit.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to need to buy another one so that I can have all the variants of the turreted one and all the variants of the non-turreted one. So I bought another one.
Yeah, I'm a bit jealous of you. I do like Baneblades ever since they were a Forge World model. I'm glad they now make them in plastic.
Well, when you consider A, the cost of all of the other workshop models, and B, the cost of all the other plastic model kit type models, they're actually pretty good value.
Yeah, like compared to even just a Rhino, which were pretty expensive.
Yeah.
And you can go and get a Baneblade for it wasn't incredibly much more, you know.
Well, so I got mine from the Combat Company, and I think they were 130 each.
Yeah, man.
So for that price, actually don't feel too bad about buying the second one.
You don't want to know how much I spent on my Elder Scorpion Mark II?
No, I don't. You're right, I don't. I bet it wasn't as much as House of War paid for that.
No. It wasn't as much as they paid for that bundle. Or the other two that they bought.
Yeah.
I think they bought 3 total.
Yeah. There's been a big backlash against them
about
that. Oh, accusations about them underpaying staff and then wasting money on models and all that kind of stuff. There was a really sort of passionate post yesterday on Facebook about, pleas for understanding and all that kind of stuff. So, I think.
What's that, sorry?
Oh, just the guy that owns the place put a big post up about, he's addressing the comments about underpaying staff and here's what happens, and, like, they now own that building. They've bought the whole building. So they're in the process of renovating it, and the last thing I saw on that was that the renovations going to cost them in the order of 1.2 million or something to do what they wanted to do.
Sounds about right for a building that size, and
Yeah.
what's going on.
Yeah, and he said, we have an annual budget for the shop. We have an annual budget for promotions and tournaments and all that sort of stuff. So we've effectively been in lockdown 18 months. Not quite, but you know what I mean. Say 12 months. We've been in lockdown effectively 12 months. So we haven't spent that money. So it's not like we've shorted anything else or anyone else to make that purchase. The money was there, and it'll be the centerpiece of the new shop and the shop fit out, and people will come to look at it, and it'll form part of their advertising portfolio going forward. And from that perspective, it's all perfectly reasonable. I mean,
Yeah, I thought it was totally fun. I'm like, sweet man, you own a war game shop,
yeah,
and you can go and spend 35 grand, or plus more because I bought the other two,
mm-hmm.
on miniatures and call it a freaking tax write-off.
Yeah,
Hell yeah, man.
yeah, exactly right. But they copped all kinds of stick from it, so
And like, I don't really like that guy Squidmar so much, but he's a pretty decent painter. He does lots of YouTube stuff that's pretty good for a lot of people.
Yeah.
So hell, why not?
Yeah. I didn't see anything wrong with it either, but it has to be the internet, I suppose.
I always wanted one of those.
Thunderhawk.
And I remember how much. Yeah, and I remember how much. Like when I was a kid, and they were like $650 or something.
Mm-hmm.
Pound even maybe. I can't remember how much. It was, 650 US or pound or whatever it was. It was so expensive as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh man, we were all dreaming of having one of them. Yeah.
Yeah. What got me is that it's an all metal model, so it's actually 20 kilos.
Yeah, it's all metal, and it's like 100 pieces or something stupid.
Yeah, it was a lot of pieces. I mean, think about that, right? It's picking that model up would be the same as picking up a bag of cement. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
You drop that thing, it's not coming back.
Having to put it together.
Yeah.
No, exactly. You'd have pinning or whatever. Like, you can't have 20 kilos of metal just held together with super glue.
No, that ain't gonna work. So
yeah.
Look, more power to them. I actually like them.
Exactly. And I thought
partner.
the tables they have there, the setup they have there is really good. I enjoyed playing the games there. So yeah.
It is sort of, at the moment, the shop is mid-renovation, so it is not the easiest sort of thing to get around, and it's not the nicest looking thing, so there have been complaints about that too, and it's like, well, what do you do? And particularly, like, I've got my workshops here. It's in pieces scattered all over the yard because we're not allowed any building people to come in and construct it. So I'm sure the neighbours are like, look at that eyesore. But there's not a lot I can do about it.
They are the times.
That's right. I'm going with red eyes again.
Old red eyes, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's going to be a beautiful day today. It's not a bloody cloud in the sky, and it's going to be about 31. And still.
And it's grey and miserable, and it can't make up its mind whether it wants to rain or not. So I'd rather be there.
Yeah, man, this is perfect spring weather. A bit steamy, still sunny. We don't normally get the steamy bit, but that's why it's perfect now.
Can you actually see?
Just for now, give it another 2 hours.
Yeah, it's going to be like 34 or something tomorrow or Monday. That's quite typical, but whatever.
That'll be miserable for you, Matty.
Well, yes, it does get a bit steamy in the processing centre. It is the one part of the building that is not air conditioned and is open to the elements.
Oh Right.
and it faces, well, the garage door faces east. So as the sun comes up in the morning, you just get it, and then it's stinking hot for the rest of the day.
Yeah, right.
But apparently the air conditioning works on the shop floor. I just don't get to spend any time there.
Yeah, that'd be brutal. January, February, March. God.
We've already had one little old lady faint from heat exhaustion in my tenure, which wasn't a good look for anyone.
There's no fun there.
Well, fortunately for her, she was fine. She was carted off to the hospital and was given a clean bill of health. The corporation forced her to take a week off, and so she went to Noosa and had a holiday.
Nice.
Yes, spent a bit more time in the sun,
Yeah,
as you do.
As you do up here.
but passing out on a banana lounge isn't that sort of life-threatening, is it?
Well, it depends if you can't get up again.
Well, true.
So we don't have Crocs here at the moment.
What do you mean at the moment? That's a very concerning statement.
Well, everything's marching south. It's all getting warmer, remember?
Yeah, that's right. Cane toads will give way to the Crocs.
Crocodiles really are this country's alpha predator.
Yeah.
I spent a lot of years in Darwin, and half-eaten shark corpses were ever turning up in Darwin Harbour. The crocodiles had got them.
Wow.
Yeah, in a fight between a shark and a crocodile, the crocodile always wins.
Mm-hmm.
It's scary that these 5, 6, whatever meter long lizard reptilian things can be swimming in the ocean.
Well, they're extremely powerful swimmers, aren't they?
I know. Yeah, I've seen video. It looks freaky, man.
Yeah. I was going to make a tasteless joke about game show host, but I'm just going to move on.
No, I wouldn't mind hearing it.
Oh, no, you were talking about apex predators.
Oh, yeah, okay.
See? Told you. Moving on. Time to throw some secret sauce at these guys. Wrong one.
It's just Thousand Island dressing that's been left out in the sun too long.
Absolutely. It's 1001 islands now. And I thought dressing was optional. On the island. What happened there? Complete painting failure. Luckily I'll be rescued by the secret sauce. Hey Clea, I've just about finished a full bottle of the white primer.
Bottle of what, sorry?
The white primer.
Oh, right.
It's just,
Was it the 200 ml or
yeah,
50?
no, the 200. Just a tiny little bit left in the bottom of it.
Yeah, now I'm sick of the Vallejo greys primers. They
Yeah.
always clog my brush, so now I mix my own out of the black and white.
Yep.
And it heats better. So yes, I'm going through them both at rates.
Yeah, right.
Actually, not all the greys. Actually, I don't think I use the German Panzer grey,
Yeah.
which is almost a black. That's quite good. It's anything lighter than that I find clogs my brush. I'm going to leave you guys there. I'm going to go get some brekkie now.
Sounds like a plan. What's for breakfast?
Maybe some eggs, I think. Got heaps of them. Chickens don't stop laying, so an abundance of the damn eggs. So maybe eggs.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Well,
Not
enjoy.
what I feel like. Just what I should eat.
Right. Yeah, there's no fun there. If you're looking forward to it, if it's like, you know, a treat sort of thing, then yay. So like, I'll be getting French toast with maple syrup tomorrow. That's my egg consumption for the week.
Yeah, maybe I should make French toast instead of something like scrambled.
Yeah. I mean, your standard egg fare gets pretty old pretty quickly, but Joe mixes it up, so it's all good. Yeah, enjoy the shit out of the rest of your weekend.
I don't know. Get some more painting done, I think. Prime this next lot of guys.
Good stuff.
Them on the way.
Yep.
Cool, man. Well, nice chatting to you both.
Yeah. And yeah, I'll see you Monday.
See you Monday.
it's
Have a good one.
way too close, isn't it?
I was actually researching egg dishes last night as part of my writing.
All right.
Yeah. Apparently the world's most famous omelette is just eggs.
Just eggs.
Yeah, nothing else in it.
Wow. How does that work?
Really good campaign.
Yeah.
Advertising campaign.
Right, okay. Because I think that'd be pretty boring.
Well, apparently if you don't buy this particular omelette and eat it, you don't get to be president of France.
Ah.
So I'm like, okay.
How many desires have you harboured to be president of France?
I can't speak for the rest of the world, but me? Yeah, I could do it.
Oh, there you go.
I mean, I'd have to learn French.
And
If I became dictator of France, it's a different matter. I'd say, no more French to be spoken in France. We'll just make it English. Thank you very much.
as it should have been. Oh, something equally politically non-astute. The wonderful thing
Well,
about...
when you're a dictator, you don't have to be politically astute.
Well, no, true. You just need to have good bodyguards.
That.
I was going to say something about the wonderful thing about French governments is how flexible they are.
Also true.
Not quite to the degree of the Italians, but still.
Oh dear.
Well, I mean, there was an argument that was made a few years ago, well, a lot of years ago, that said that the Italians were the only ones that really had got democracy right. Because you don't like the government, you get rid of the government, you vote another one in. And you do that every 3 months if necessary. It does sort of engender some chaos in the economy, though.
Well, that might be preferable to the uniparty that we have here.
Mm-hmm.
Or in America, or Britain, or anywhere else.
The monobrow of politics. Alright. I've got to wait.
Very nice.
They do. I've got to let them dry, so I'm probably going to leave it there. But yeah, obviously then a little bit of detail, a little bit of touch-up, and then basing, but that's 3 armoured trolls in a painting session. Nice. Happy with that. So...
Trolls look happy about it too.
Yeah. Well, they just want to hit stuff. They're simple guys. It's a thing. Well, I wish the same for you too, Matty. Enjoy the shit out of your weekend.
And the same to you.
I shall endeavour to. Alright, thanks for joining. And for anybody else that's watching, thanks for watching. We'll catch you next week. See ya.